Hey everyone, this is Steve Larsen, and this is Sales Funnel Radio.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
All right, hey, welcome everyone. Today I am super excited. I have a very special guest. It's very near and dear to me, actually, and I have been looking forward to this actually for several weeks, ever since we set it up. So this is everyone. This is Becky. Becky, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, no, really though, Becky has been very influential for me, and I don't know that I've told you this, which makes me feel even worse. But I actually feel like you were very influential on me being in the position that I'm in right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So if it's right, I'd kind of like to tell that story because it was a moment of high drama for me. You know what I mean? We always talk about selling people when they're in a life transition period, and that's kind of what I was in when you and I met. And so I was in college. Obviously, I was about to graduate. Literally the week before we met at Russel's last event, the Funnel Hacker event. And I was about to go, over and work for this guy in Florida, and I knew it'd be good, but I wasn't totally stoked. And I remember at the event, Russel had just pitched the whole certification event, and I had like a prayer in my heart, I was like, man, God, like, I feel like I should do this, you know what I mean? And then I can't even remember like what I stopped by and asked you. Do you remember that?
I think you just asked me about the certification and kind of what I had talked about. What a few of the certification partners had talked a little bit about what it meant to me, and I mentioned how it really meant a lot to me to be able to be home with my kids and work with people who I believed in.
Yeah.
And who I could make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must have had like a freaked out look on my face or something like that, because I remember the first thing you said to me is, do you just need to go talk? And I was like, sure, I guess I didn't realize that I was, I don't know. Anyways, so we stepped out of the whole meeting, and you started just answering questions for me, and it was awesome. And that led me to literally applying not just for certification, but to work at ClickFunnels, and that's literally why I'm sitting in Russell's office right now, I think. So so it really, everyone listening, Becky is amazing. So
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I've just been very, very excited for this. It's been, it's fun to interview everyone, but I was like, I got to interview Becky. Becky's been awesome. Because throughout the rest of the event, you were texting me, and you're like, hey, just following up with you. Have you been doing all your stuff? And I was like, man, normal people don't do this. That's awesome. So anyways, so you've been working on a lot of funnels, obviously. You've been doing this as a certified partner, especially for how long? A year and a half?
Yes. I signed up for the certification at the first Funnel Hacking Live in May of 2015, and I've been working with ClickFunnels since it was in beta, so 2.5 years.
Oh, awesome. So, I mean, how did you get into it overall, I guess? How did you get into funnels?
Well, I really just kind of fell into it. Some of my clients had been using different things, and we were piecing it together, the whole story about piecing all these different things together. And I've been actually doing funnels without the name funnels for years and years, just trying to get people in and build that relationship. But then a client of mine went to one of Russell's events or webinars, and he said, hey, I really want to try this. Let's check it out. And
wow.
From there, we just kind of jumped on, and even after I stopped working with him, when he went to travel, I was hooked.
Yeah.
I completely jumped on board.
That's awesome. What, I guess, obviously ClickFunnels beta version versus what it is now is very different.
Yes, it's very, very different. It was much clunkier. You didn't have a lot of the drag and drop capabilities. You didn't have a lot of the editing capabilities. It was still better than anything out there, but a far cry from what it is now, with the amazing capabilities that it has to drag and drop and edit and customize. And I'm really excited with the changes that are coming this summer too.
Yeah.
That's going to be even more cool.
Oh man, yeah, that's going to be cool. For sure. So now, was it because you'd been already kind of doing it that led you to be a certified partner and go through that whole gate also?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I already had that experience. I already had the knowledge. I was already using ClickFunnels about 60% with my clients at the time, if not more. And so just a few of the benefits of becoming certified were enough to tell me that it was really a great thing to do. And in the process, I developed this whole new family of partners and colleagues and friends, and who've supported and helped. And it's just been really amazing to have that group of people to support me in growing my business and helping people.
I remember that's one of the things you mentioned to me when I was asking questions about it, and is just how big the network is when you jump into that boat. And I've actually really felt that. It's amazing. I know a lot of people, and they're all amazing. Like I went through 9 business partners in the last year and a half, and they they were awesome, but I moved on for certain reasons. And everyone I've been meeting is just, they're all A players.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they say that you draw the people toward you that you need, and I really believe that, particularly with this group of people, because obviously there's people in this realm who are not the caliber that you and I have met, but somehow we've drawn to us the type of people who we need and who are amazing to work with and supportive and ethical, and just not any of the negativities that maybe you've experienced before, or I have, or that we've seen out there. It's just been a great group of people who are willing to make referrals and help out and answer questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not to say that everyone that I've ever worked with in the past has not been good, because especially a few of them, man, they knock the socks off of what they do. But it's the, I don't know what it is. It's fantastic though. It's a cool community I've never experienced. So
it really is.
So the whole, I don't know, it's kind of funny because whenever you see ads, right, or we all see sales video letters, or we all see, whatever it is, we all like to kind of, puff our chest out and say, this is what I've done and it's amazing, and I'm making this much money. But beneath it all, there's usually like this lifetime of struggle and this lifetime worth of just, going against odds that no one else would, a lot of courage and stuff like that. And no doubt, I'm sure you're the same with that. And I was wondering if you could kind of, what are kind of some of the issues you've had with some of the funnels that are now successful, that may not have been in the past?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, because I've been working recently on one that I feel like it's just a poster child, and it's so cool when everything meshes and it just clicks. So I didn't really start to feel success with this until I kind of was willing to have my own voice, to say who I was and use my personality, as opposed to try to be a cookie cutter with other people. And that's exactly what has made this particular funnel with Alex Charfen, and he said that I could definitely use him as an example. Do
a little name drop. That's awesome.
Yes. But it's really cool because he has had so many successes in the past, and these particular funnels were successful, but they weren't having the type of reach and success that he had hoped for and that he really wanted. Because you and I met him in San Diego, and he just speaks so well to entrepreneurs especially. So when he reached out to me and I went up to his office to work with their group for an entire day, the first thing that I noticed was that what was in his funnels didn't resonate with him. It didn't have the same type of language and personality that he has in all of the things that he does through his podcast and his Facebook Lives, and even his posts and everything that I've seen from him, as well as the presentation that he gave.
So you're saying match the personality with the funnel?
Exactly. So what we did was we went in and we basically stripped out a lot of the industry speak types of things where you might have these specific phrases, or you might have these things that other people have used with great success with different markets, but it didn't fit him and his market. And we really made the wording match what his message was and the people that he wanted to reach, and the fact that he wanted to build a long-term client relationship with the people that he was reaching out to. He wasn't looking for a sale. He was looking for that relationship.
And so how else did you create that? I mean, did you just basically gut the whole funnel and or just change verbiage, or you know what I mean? How else do you match someone's personality and funnel? I've never thought about that. That makes sense though.
Yeah, it really does make a big difference. So for him, the very first things we did were take out some of the language and the headlines. We focused on the headlines first because obviously that grabs your attention. And we changed the wording where it was going to reach people. We're always saying to touch people's pain points. And so that's really what we tried to do, but in a way that matched his message. And then we went through and we looked at, are we really showing people how much value they're going to get from listening to one of Alex's webinars or one of his products? And we focused on all the ways that this was going to really change their lives. And I don't use that phrase loosely when I come to his particular work. But you and I know it really did.
Yeah.
I do this with all of my clients. How is it going to change their life? I have an Ironman client, and what we focused on was, how is this training going to make these people's lives better? And focus on that messaging in a way that sounded just like she speaks. And so we looked at the headlines, we looked at what we were offering, and we took out a lot of the things that are purely sales driven, because like I said, a lot of my clients are trying to build a relationship. So anything that felt too pushy, maybe some of the phrases and graphics that were really about sales for these particular people, we took out so that they could start to build that relationship and let their audience know that they're trying to build a relationship and not just sell them a product.
So that is kind of, I mean, that's counterintuitive to what most people do when they're selling. Does that mean you switch a lot of the things to like a lot of soft closes instead of a hard? Okay, interesting.
Absolutely. We did a lot of soft sell. And anytime that you are not just about a product, but you're about a relationship, that's so important to look at. Are you pushing too hard to build that relationship and turning people off? And this is something that the feedback that I actually got was that they had a lot of unsubscribes in the past 6 weeks, 2 months, once they had started this particular method of marketing, because it didn't resonate with what they were trying to do.
So did you conduct like a lot of interviews and things like that to understand his market better? Or was he kind of able to pick out like, hey, that's not how I would say that, you know? Or how did you identify what that is, since it's matching him?
Well, before I went in there, I had looked at a lot of his unscripted work. The things he was putting on Facebook, what he was doing on Facebook Live. I watched one of his presentations, well, 2 actually, the live one at San Diego and then the video one. And I do that type of background with my clients in trying to get inside their head, exactly the same way they're trying to get inside their audiences, to really understand them better and understand what they want to do for their audience and how they can do it better.
Interesting. So you watch your clients' social profiles. I've never thought about that. That's clever though.
Some of them. When their business is reaching out to people on social, then yes, I do. It sounds very stalkerish, and I don't mean it that way at all.
We'll call it research.
Yeah, it really is. But for instance, my Ironman client, she had been on several interviews. She had done things outside of social media, and so watching her there was very helpful. And if I have the opportunity, then I will talk to some of her clients or my clients as well to get that better feedback for how we can better serve them. But in a nutshell, it really just all boils down to being authentic and finding out what the real message is. And sometimes that takes a little bit of background, sometimes it takes a little bit of research, or really getting to know the person who is trying to reach out to their audience. But it's so worth it, because in the end, you are promoting a community and not just a bunch of sales. And like I said before, when I was at Funnel Hacking Live, that's part of the way that you help people change the world, is helping them reach their audience.
Interesting. So, I mean, you're basically going through and you're scraping out all the techno babble and stuff that people wouldn't, stuff that doesn't make you human, the things that you and I would not normally say in a conversation to each other. And that's awesome.
Exactly. The things that just sound too canned, that maybe have been said too often or don't fit. You can't fit your particular personality inside someone else's funnel. Just like you can't fit inside someone else's shoes or clothing. You just have to make it your own.
I remember, so on salesfunnelbroker.com, that's the site I built and I put up, and it's kind of funny because the moment I launched it, someone was making fun of it. One of my buddies, he's like, "You have yourself in a shirt and tie on the front." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "No one looks at you like a shirt and a tie guy." I was like, you know what? That's good, because I don't either. He's like, "Yeah, if you scroll down, you got a big page of you, a big picture of you, being all goofy, pointing at your shirt in a black and white." He's like, "That's more what everyone looks at you as." And I said, "Hey, I know. Just thought I should toss that in there." But it makes sense, though. I mean, it's not my personality. I probably shouldn't have that on my front page.
Exactly. And especially people who know you.
Yeah.
They understand what you're really like, and we just can't fit inside someone else's funnel or someone else's marketing, because we need to reach out to our audiences in our own voice and be authentic, and sometimes share a little bit of our vulnerability and our background so that they know that we're real and we've been through the same types of growth problems that they have.
Yeah, I am a brass tacks, really intense guy, everyone. You just got to watch out for me, okay? I will rip your head off.
I totally get that about you. I totally get it.
Yeah, most people do. They tremble in fear.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, do you mind kind of walking us through the funnel that you've built or, fixed with Alex? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Just from your perspective, I thought it'd be kind of cool to hear, hey, on the first page, he was getting this % kind of conversion, but after the tweaks, are you allowed to share that kind of stuff?
Yes, I actually asked him, and he gave me the permission to do so.
Oh, great.
I'm very excited about it.
Oh, awesome.
So his funnel starts with a free book download, and it's a really impressive book. And the people who were going to it were actually warm traffic, so his numbers should have been very high. But they were in the teens. And nobody could quite figure out why he was getting, 15, 16, 17%. He actually had several funnels for different reasons, but all that were identical and were all for the free book download. But none of them were converting at higher than 30%.
Wow.
Most of his traffic was warm, and these people really liked him. So the first thing we did was look at how are they drawing people in, and it was just very simple. There was the title, and there was a very, very long description. So we shortened that up, and we made it a little bit more true to his personality. And the other thing that we did was they were asking for about, I think, 6 pieces of information, and we stripped that down to 3. So
oh, cool.
Those particular numbers more than doubled after we made those changes.
Just those, so you cleaned up the copy, and then basically, I call it funnel friction. You had too much funnel friction. You had to release it a little bit before.
Right. We just stripped it down a little bit and made it simpler so that people didn't have to read quite so much. But the impressive thing was going from the second page where they would get the thank you for downloading onto looking at another video. This part that we completely gutted. We took out all the headlines, we took out the slide deck video, we took out the offer.
On the thank you page?
On the thank you page, because there was an offer for an upsell, and people weren't even clicking to find out more about it. Those numbers were I believe, right around 10%. So
Wow.
really, really bad, especially for him, for a warm audience.
Yeah.
And we changed it over to be just a video thanking them, telling them what the book was going to give for them, and offering the opportunity to move on with the training with an additional video and more training.
It's kind of like just like a soft offer, but not even an offer. You're just asking them to progress clicking.
Exactly. And the thing that I said to them before they shot the video was, you are not selling to people. You are offering them the opportunity to continue on this journey with what they've started to learn, and you're going to help them even more.
Interesting. Okay.
So once he did that, the click-throughs to the third page went up 6 times.
What? 60%? Holy smokes.
Yes, it was pretty phenomenal. It was pretty phenomenal because that was the most heavily salesy page
Wow.
of marketing.
Wow.
And so it was really cool to see that change, that by really dialing into his personality,
Uh-huh.
stripping out everything else, and just giving them the opportunity to continue on. Because we weren't going from sales page to sales page the first time and then taking out the sales the second time. We had the same type of messaging. Well, the same funnel. The funnel was the same. It was just the messaging that was different. We had the same offer that they could go on to watch this video and get more training. Took out all the salesiness. And so that was very cool to see that stripping that down, making it really about helping, made that dramatic of a change.
Man, that's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, that was really cool to see. And then on the next step of his funnel, which was actually his funnel stack because they were presented this offer a little bit later, it wasn't immediate.
Sure.
What we did was we took the sales page and we stripped out a lot of the pushiness on that one as well. And we told them all the ways that this was going to benefit them and all of the things that they could do in order to continue to improve their life, which is his theme as an entrepreneur. And by really telling the audience that about what they were going to get and the changes they were going to make before that we promoted what the course was going to do, those sales doubled.
Now, was that an e-course then, like a membership area it promotes, or?
Yes, it was an e-course, a membership area. It had, I think, 2 payments. It wasn't a long-term continuity type of thing, but
Sure.
The offer was the same. The price was the same. The difference was that we added a little bit of graphics so that it wasn't, real plain and boring graphics of Alex and of the course. And we talked about the changes that it was going to make. And then down next to the order form is where we labeled out the ABC of what it was going to offer. And when we went in, I believe it was about 8 days after we made those changes, it was so exciting to see that those sales numbers had doubled. That's
fantastic. So I've been, I'm a big fan of Perry Belcher, and one of the things that he talks about is how when you start to do a sales letter or anything really, everyone comes in to these scenarios having different beliefs. Hey, I can do this, or hey, I can't do this, or I believe I won't be able to because of my past. And it's hard. It's very, very hard to get someone to change their beliefs. And so what a salesperson's job is truly more about suspending people's beliefs long enough for them to purchase, which is the greatest chance for them to end up changing their beliefs in the long run anyways. And so I think it's interesting that you said on the sales page, you didn't put the ABCs of the offer out until way at the bottom. And the whole way, from the top down to that point, you really just pre-framing them to suspend their belief with time. So time is the biggest way ever to suspend beliefs. And so if they're going from the top of the page down to the bottom, there's more time involved there, and more stuff to help them suspend beliefs, so that at the end, okay, ABC, here's 2 payment plans, and you don't pitch till the end. That's amazing.
And the top was really about the changes that it would make, and it was bullet points. There were very few paragraphs. It was all bullet point to attract the attention, and again, to figure out how to help these people realize that they're continuing on a journey, and that this is going to help them improve their business, their life, whatever the case may be, with whatever it is that you are working on.
Wow.
But it's about that transformation.
That's incredible. Okay, so that doubled the sales right there. Holy cow. People get stoked in the stock market when they have like a 10% gain. And we're like, no, let's double it.
So it was very, very cool to see. And the really cool thing about this particular funnel was that the results were so immediate, and changes were very obvious. It was very simply, we're making this more your voice. What would you normally say? And these are the results. And I've only been working with him for, I think, about 6 weeks. Maybe a little longer, maybe 2 months.
Wow.
And we've seen these types of changes. So you can get these types of changes quickly when you're really dialing in. And he knows his audience. And that's what's fun about working with clients who are established, is that they've done the background on their audience and they know their message. And so you can really help them transform what they're saying just by being more authentic. And so when you're starting from scratch, it's so nice to know that these results are possible.
My wife always calls that, instead of authentic, she calls it being real. And we'll be talking to someone and she'll be like, that guy was the most real guy I've ever heard. And I used to tease her and be like, he was real before that. but I get what you're saying, though, yeah.
Yeah, the authentic is very much a marketing term, but
yeah,
just be true to who you are and be real in your messaging, and don't try to hide behind a lot of things.
Now, are you allowed to tell a little bit about the membership area also and what he's done in there?
His membership area is phenomenal. He took pieces from a 2-day workshop that he did a few months ago and separated it out and added tools that you can download. And some of it's very focused on yourself and growing into the entrepreneur, the person that you're really meant to be.
Wow.
Some of it is focused on growing your business, and some of it is focused on growing your business even more with a team. And the pieces that he has and the tools that he's put together just really show how you can take a massive amount of information and break it down via a continuity or a membership area or things like that, and offer it to people in bite-sized pieces in a way that they don't get overwhelmed, so that they can get the most out of what you're doing.
Now, what I'm curious about is, how did you determine, besides at the beginning of the funnel and watching the conversions as you kind of worked down, but how did you even figure out that it was overwhelmed, that people were feeling?
Because I was overwhelmed when I looked at it. I have to be honest, when I looked at it, I just felt super uncomfortable because it was that push. And I really believe that we are connected with people for a reason, that God puts people in our path for a reason. And I felt like when I had met him originally that I had so much to learn. And then when I was reading his stuff, I was very put off. And that's part of the reason why the research does so well, is kind of getting to know their personality. You can tell if it's congruent with what they're trying to do when you look at someone's funnel.
Wow. Okay. I'm just thinking, okay, yeah. So I've been taking notes. I got a full page of notes of things you said. I've actually drawn out the whole funnel all the way from the back, all the lessons. I number them out. And that's cool. No, but so Stu McLaren. I don't know if you've. I'm sure you've heard the name. So Stu's the man, and he loves membership sites. That's kind of his mojo there. And he said, though, I heard him say once that overwhelm is actually the number one reason someone cancels from a membership site. That they get in and there's too much stuff. Like people will go in, they're like, I don't even know where to start, So that's interesting. That's what you said it was.
Right. Absolutely. And it was the same thing when I looked at his funnels, and they had already broken things down on the membership side and had it in bite-sized pieces. And so now what we're working on is just making it more user-friendly in that membership area, because still we want to make the user experience flow. And again, that's why it's so important to get to know the person that you're working with and do a little bit of research on who's following them and the types of people that they're going to resonate with. And if he were, let's say, one of these people who was hard-hitting and really promoting hard to men, corporate men, and that type of thing, I honestly would step back and say, I am not the best person to do your marketing, because I have no idea what your message is from a personal standpoint. And that's like what I said before. I really try to work with people that I connect with and who I can help make a difference. And so if I am nowhere in the realm of your target market, then in order for me to really understand what you're trying to say, I'm going to have to do way more research with the people that you're trying to talk to. And so if you're in that space where you're working with someone who they are not targeting, then that's when the research is really important.
Oh, man. So, I mean, you made all these changes to the funnel itself. 2x, 6x, 2x. I mean, I'm just looking down all the numbers, 16 to 32, 10. I mean, it's amazing looking at all of it. Now, in that process, you said that he had been sending warm traffic. Did you guys change the traffic source at all?
No change in the traffic source. Now,
Jeez.
In the process, we did change the messaging in the emails as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
We took out some of that hard-hitting sales.
Huh.
That it was more his conversational personality. It was an invitation and not pushing us. But he didn't change his ads. He didn't change what he was doing on Facebook. And he didn't send out more emails. In fact, I think he sent out fewer. And so everything that he had been doing on social media was really his voice already. It was really just email and the funnel that we had to change.
Interesting. So, okay. So fewer emails actually went out, and
that's the thing that I do as soon as I start working with a client, is I go in and I subscribe to what they're already doing if they have something in place. I'll subscribe to their email and I'll start looking at it and kind of trying to get a feel for their messaging, what they're saying, how they're saying it. And that gave me that same off-putting feeling in the emails that I got when I looked at that sales page.
One of the things that Russel, I think, does, and I've never really realized, some of it's for the ease of creation, and making things, but it helps him. What I've seen him do is he will just record himself teaching something, and then go get it transcribed, so it preserves everything in his voice, and it's the way he would say it.
Right.
And most of us, the way we write and the way we speak are two different languages, but that's actually an error in sales copy usually.
Right. Because you're not going to reach your audience if you are putting on a template, putting on this box of what you're trying to say. If they're already following you, then they're following you for a reason. So by following that same type of format that you are engaging them with, then you're just going to engage with them more.
That's fantastic. I know we've been going for a little bit here. I actually have one other question, and I'm sure people are going to they're going to kill me if I don't ask this. How on earth did you get a client like Alex Charfen?
It's really cool how that happened, and goes right back to my strong belief that you provide the value and the rest comes. He had a funnel that he had put out on social media.
Okay.
And I think a friend tagged me in it. I can't even remember how I found it, but I ended up coming across it, and suddenly there were all these messages that said, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken.
Oof.
So I messaged him and all the people who I could tell kind of were working with him, and I said, send me your information, I will fix it right now.
Wow.
And they did, and I did, and it was that's all it was just trying to help out, because it really pains me to see something like that when there's something not working and they're pushing it out to all these people, because literally dozens of people were commenting on it that it wasn't working. And so who even knows how many more people didn't comment at all. And so that was all there was. I said, here you go, it's fixed. And I don't know, a month or two later, probably 6 weeks maybe, his team reached out to me and said, can we talk? We'd love for you to help us.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was really neat. They just said, we appreciate that you helped us before, and we want to see about working with you. So when you are genuinely interested in helping people, good things come to you.
Mm-hmm.
May not be that obvious and that immediate. I mean, that was just a really cool experience. It was a pretty tight turnaround and the same person, but people are going to talk about you helping them and about the things that you've done to improve what they're doing, and then good things will come.
That's incredible. Yeah, I completely agree, and I've seen that definitely on my own. There was a guy I was doing work for once. And this is kind of broke into it because I needed someone to be able to see what I could do, right? And so I actually went to him and I told him, I'm going to build a funnel for you. I know you don't know what that is, so don't pay me for the first 6 months. I said, all I need you to do is pay for the tools. I'll go put it together. And I ended up, helping him pull an extra $60,000 from just an email campaign, that I put out there with his own list, and through a sales funnel, tripwire funnel I built. And after that, though, then they offered to pay me, and they offered, and it was a really easy way to go get a relationship going. And yeah, but
it's just whether or not he had helped you or he had turned around and decided to create it or not, it was good experience for you, and you were helping somebody to help other people. And so it comes around. All these things kind of click together for good when we're trying to do something good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And and it's such a counterintuitive thing too, because everyone says, put your resume out there and go. I hate resumes. I don't have one. You don't really need one. So anyways, that's really cool. Thanks so much for sharing all that stuff.
You're welcome. It's a privilege to talk to you, and I've really enjoyed seeing all the great things that you're doing. So I'm thrilled to be able to chat with you about it and share some of that experience.
All right, thank you so much. Now, for all the people who are listening or will listen to this, I guess how can they reach you or follow you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, and then if you want to reach out in a way that's more direct, I have a website. It's go.funnelpros.net, and you can see a little bit about me and my history and the story of how I came to be here, and a little bit of a few of the people that we've helped.
That's awesome. Go.funnelpros.net.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much. And I'm looking forward. I'm going to go check out that site right now, actually.
Thanks so much. I appreciate talking with you, and it was a pleasure.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Want to get one of today's best internet sales funnel for free? Go to salesfunnelbroker.com/free funnels to download your pre-built sales funnel today.